one-winged bluebottle rushes confusedly through the interstices of battered stone, past the bird shit and a pathetic wind. In fact, there are many landing and flying off discontentedly, curiously, flurry fall rebound back into the sky and up to a tarmac rooftop that teeters over a reddened brickwork. There they sit in a line, not necessarily watching or hunting or moving or being. Neither are they listening, funneling, scraping or mating. They also don't appear to be smelling, chatting, tutting or... Of course they neither wanted to nor could be tasting or playing or sighing or thinking, and they almost definitely weren't feeling, blinking, laughing or crying. They were a part of the tarmac. They were the tarmac. The tarmac became them. The gale grew fast, the puddle undulations played it so. The sky in it is this, a vivid velvet fabric-like texture, and it looks like, well, proper red, really, really red, or red proper, depending on my pretense. Depending on the vantage point, you receive a lighter or darker hue of orange-red presence. But this contrast was indecisive now because the gale grew and the ripples made it so. But despite this, dry leaves pierced the puddle. They burst into the depressive frame whilst exhibiting a dance to Radio 1 or BBC Cumbria or Smooth FM or something. The gate makers really didn't mind what was on. Steve was partially deaf anyway, and he really couldn't give a shit. Apart from the screeching language of dissecting steel, you see, all he could hear were the words, "It's 5 o'clock now." Then all Steve could do was plough through the vivid velvet blanket puddle in his Ford Galaxy, because how else is he going to get home? Workers are gone, the dance stops, or is simulated by a silent, pathetic wind. The dry grass lets darkness fall upon it, and is interrupted only by a very, 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 very annoying buzzing and a sort of flurry-fall rebound motion. This is largely the disposition of the tarmacked winged clan. Back and forth from puddle to rooftop, sometimes ducking, diving through the steel stairs fortunately placed for an obstacle course. Sometimes the 20-year-old flakes of the decaying steel stairs fell off. Sometimes they fell into the long grass. Sometimes they waded their way out. Sometimes they got pushed over the driveway by the begrudging, pathetic wind. Sometimes they make it even to the vivid velvet puddle. Sometimes they spend some time there. Sometimes they're floating, but that hasn't happened for a while, and when it does, it usually is quite boring to watch. Falling complex mounds of moss soup kind of fatigue. Dubious cylindrical mischief mimics my coffee intake. The clouds crawl over, mostly over the image, which makes the moss soup sullen. They render it a decay, a dejected, sad endpoint, the antithesis to an exciting lava flow. The window is cut by what appears to be a supportive beam, but I look up, and it's actually the leg of a toppled water tower, I think. The birds agree, but they agree to everything. They know I'm too tired to be writing this. What I've been trying to do is think about things that don't exist all day. He's delirious, says one. It's only a mirror, says another. Well, if you think I'm whistling back to you, well, you can, you know, so. This was a bit of a damp occasion, so. Just get that made it simple for myself, right? Sorry. Beads held down the incline, soggy socks, green cagoule on my head, in a cut of a coat coaxes out the peripheral unkempt hedges. The rain picks up and rouses in panic. Do you remember that film you saw not long ago about a blind man who loved the rain? He said that it was how he could see best. that each droplet fell upon each surface, each individual surface, causing a unique, discernible noise, a kind of sonar for the mind. Romantic thoughts, all but brief, my knee like a dark swamp, and my feet carried half a litre. Besides, I should just appreciate the rhythm ahead, the cut crest of a dark sun, constantly painted layers of rain. The droplets continue to flow down the mirror, urging themselves forward in line with the track. They run, leave a snaking, erased line, enjoy the water. They reveal a mnemonic glimpse of the tunnel ahead, jaded, clogged. The inverse of the hills of the distance, neck cramped from protecting the paper, crouching, it's easy to ignore the symphony of green, taking back its hollow prize, no surprise. The swamp hops from mining to the moss, grass, and iron ore squelch. The droplets now still upon a still mirror, still with me. Yes, it's no surprise here, the rain sounds beautiful, more so from an interior, especially as it runs past each ear in harmless therapy, through inconsequential effect by way of oral catharsis, resulting in rationale. If you could only see the beautiful mould, my listener, circumventing overhead, oozing a stunning broth between each beam. If, oh listener, you hold trepidations of the droplets below, past the mirror, through the steel gate, turn away now and go no further. Or don't worry, because there is nothing down there but water and drowning. We come to the end of the great swaths of liquid affect in the blind spot, only to lose excesses, dripping down from immediately behind to the left and right. Furthermore, the odd friendly insect who pops up to say hello or crawls over the still there, still wet but still strong mirror ahead, in which we see the second of a king-like mud pile ripe for writhing in, rolling around in, rolling in, and just being earnest about nostalgia for the past, but with a nihilism for the present. The light of the scene comes from this mirror source, licks my face with grace and force, and a red man passes and he gives me a wink and I give one back, but I kind of mess it up because I did that thing where you also blink with your other eye, so it just kind of looks like you're blinking, which of course the red man started laughing about, and I got really embarrassed and I checked my muscles. Grid grind piercing, pale white, hounding, damp dog, kicking my breath. Time is fast, time is slow, mental stretch, want. Clear blue sky, calm, above and around, a clear presence. Sudden unmaking, the sculpture topples, the maker decides it's time for another position. Now the burning lean occurs due to the connecting rod, tensing the balance, what precise fishly and vice balance like a timber seance upon a hematite stage. Protagonist looks elsewhere, stage left, peering up into the sky, looking at what could have been the sea in the sky of mother, but the stereotype stops right there, as the earth is here, centre stage, pounded, compounded, balanced, not in hue but in dancing precarity, for the hue has been charred, and dents have been peeled, and the mother sweats. His hands are coloured, and the sunlit brow, and the sunlight hits well upon his sweat at this hour. Clouds pass over the protagonist now, murky waters run through her script. They will be brief and back to the blue soon. Spanner, bolt, grapple, ground, filth, watch, burn, boots, sweat, metal, touch, balance, caress, soft, stroke, solve, peace, order, embrace, vital, alchemy, heal. Drop, bang, ground, filth, spike, force, hurt, sharp, stab, power, rock, placement, dainty, agile, touch, play, consider, feel, nearly. I don't know, I can't make my mind up for now. It has all finished. Sunless pummel abounding from the hollow, an overload of was-earth detail, cold silence, cut by the occasional drip, amplified by it, subordinated to it. Millions of tiny little worms follow the fissures of the glass panes. They're holidaying in the dark. The level of comfort is maximum for a blind creature. Labour screams through the gaps in the brickwork, use values still dripping, prosperity down the shaft. The heat long emigrated. Cold light wraps an agile touch upon the caressing binds of a 5-foot chain, interlocked now, and for 500 thereafter. The 4 chains carry an empty box, eager to submerge into the swollen burrows, but for the 500 yet to break them, 500 yet to break through, and the 1,000 that was its want. If you could feel silence, this is what it felt like. If it carried the cold, it did it well, in the light that caressed the steel. As one rested upon the other, each know rest far too well. But for the glow of the red men workshop, past the fissures beneath the silent roof, a room burnt on every surface, the nettled breath from the rock beneath, probably prevalent throughout the room like everywhere else. This antithetical time to the twilight hour when the red pops out and into your eyes and burns them. No, this is the morning right now, after the event, the hangover, the regrets. Back out from the endless dust of Mars within that room, and to the fissures and to the friendly worms. If the window was a painting, if the window was a painting, it would be crap, but very true. It would be weak but stern, slow but loyal, like a martyr trying to do more than it can, attempting to pop out of its image. It's the contrast of an image so demanding in a somber nothing. Radiance loses magic when it participates in the demarcation of the other. The cold silence it sits on is hurting. That's it.